Welcome to the LapRPG Fantasy Cartographer project, a game about drawing maps in a fantasy world. Almost the entire graphic style, including the interface, was hand-drawn.
Its inspiration came from an RPG system and a world created by 3 enthusiasts and friends.
This is the main menu. Its background looks different every time because it is procedurally generated from scratch.
Here are a few examples of how it can look.
Development status, July 2026. From here, you can choose or create a player profile, adjust settings, load an existing map, or start a new one.
This is the new map creation window. In the future, there will probably be more options here, but for now, this is what it looks like.
The game offers several modes. Besides the tutorial, you can create a simple map, an advanced map, or unleash your imagination in the creative mode.
I'll explain the differences later, but for now, let's create something simple. Here you choose the map's fill type, meaning whether it should be filled with water or land by default. These 2 sliders determine the planned amount of water and mountains on our map. They determine whether the map will have many seas and lakes, and whether the terrain will be flat or mountainous. Below, you can choose the world type. The spherical world resembles Earth, with a warm equator and cold poles. The tortoiseshell world is one where the sun circles around it. It is warm in the center and freezing on the edges. The flat world has a uniform climate across its entire surface.
Every game begins with creating a nation.
In this window, you choose its main people from among those that are available. Here we choose the state's color. Besides the visible ones, you can enter any hex code. This little dice icon generates a random name, though of course you can type your own. But let's make it red.
At the start, you receive a pool of terrain tiles to place on an empty hex grid. Each tile can be rotated.
Each one contains random content. The first one we rolled is water. Here again some water, but with a fishing ground. This is a grassland, 2 hills, and a hut between them. Now, another hill and some water. Maybe I'll place it here. Now, besides water, we have a small swamp with a giant mushroom. Here we finally have some forest and the first settlement, or rather, a village. I'll put it here.
Settlements gather resources from their own buildings and from the surrounding terrain. Forests and mountains provide production. Fields provide food. Water provides food and gold.
In the next tile, we have another village. Maybe let's place it on the other side of this lake.
Resources can also flow in from buildings, animals, ships, and other settlements if they are connected by roads, rivers, or coastlines.
By following the coastlines, the village of Oberstingen reaches the fishing grounds and also the village of Mittenmeer.
Each settlement has a range that determines how far its influence reaches.
And here is a hamlet. Maybe I'll place it near the water as well. You can see it gathered some gold and food from the water segments. Food allows the population to grow and adds new buildings.
Production is used to upgrade existing ones. Gold goes into the general pool. Different buildings have different costs and produce different resources.
Let's draw a few more tiles. Here we have a tile with a large diagonal mountain range. Precise rotation of the tile is possible by holding Alt on the keyboard. All buildings, mountains, and hills have full drawing animations, as if we were drawing the entire map by hand. At least that was the idea. Another hamlet. Let's place it here. And now another village with a forest and a vertical line of hills. Here our mountain range will have a nice continuation. You can see how the settlement gathers resources from the surrounding forests and hills. Water will go here. And I'll place the forest with hills above.
Besides tiles, you can draw individual objects anywhere on the map.
Let's start with mountains, or maybe foothills.
Each drawing costs gold.
The bigger the drawing, the higher the cost. You can scroll through available drawings in a group with the mouse wheel. When a hill enters a settlement's area, the settlement lights up yellow. If it doesn't fit somewhere, it lights up red. The hill placed here took some gold from the general pool, but the production it generated went to the settlement. High mountains work on the same principles. I'll draw a hill somewhere. Oh, it's a bit too empty here. Foothills provide minimal production. Mountain ranges provide the most production, but cost an absurd amount. Maybe another time. Let's add a small lake here. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Water segments can be rotated. We rotate them with the mouse wheel while holding Shift on the keyboard. Precise rotation is done with Alt. I'll draw a swamp here, at least it's cheap. Grassland segments are a bit more expensive, but near settlements they turn into fields, pastures, orchards, or hunting grounds, depending on the folk. They provide food, which allows the population to grow like in this hamlet. I'll draw a forest here. You can see which trees will disappear due to mountains and hills. In the future, once climate is implemented, the forest's appearance will depend on temperature and humidity. We can also draw a few individual trees here. Giant mushrooms in our world are a source of food and building materials, and sometimes serve as dwellings. They grow mainly in swamps. We can also draw an animal. Let's add a mammal. In our world, it's a mountain species with huge tusks, a cross between a bull and a mammoth.
Rivers are dragged from mouth to source.
We can see the planned cost in real time. I'll draw a small tributary here. The width of the river is calculated automatically. We also draw roads by dragging them from point to point.
You can change the type of each segment while drawing.
The cost of a road depends on the terrain it crosses. In the legend window, you can see that the mammal we just drew already belongs to the hamlet of Mittenmern. Let's draw a few more segments to reach that hut. Here we can add a building to our map. Buildings can be placed on open terrain, let's say here, or inside settlements, replacing existing structures. You can also draw entire settlements, but we can't afford that right now.
Clicking a settlement opens the panorama window.
It gathers all resources that reach the settlement from various sources. The image at the top depends on the surrounding terrain, which is why here in Mittenmern you see a swamp and forest in the foreground.
The game allows you to place labels on area objects, such as water, forests, fields, mountains, and swamps.
Labels can be moved using these two handles. You can bend them by dragging this arrow. Of course, you can also edit them. Each folk has its own set of prefixes and suffixes used to generate names. The mouse wheel changes text size. Let's give this meadow a name too. That should be fine. Now it's time for this mountain range. Each type of terrain has its own style of lettering. Mountain labels are always colored this way and written in all caps. Finally, let's name this swamp. You can also place labels on rivers, but to make it easier to see, I'll draw a larger one. You can also see that planned segments can be easily undone while drawing. Okay, that should be enough. I'll place the label let's say here. I can move it using the handle or copy it with Control-C and place it somewhere else. The algorithm tries to arrange the letters along the river. Let's name this tributary as well.
Arrows let you discard a tile and draw a new one. The eraser removes single elements.
Let's say I don't like this coastline. Removing elements costs nothing. Removed buildings turn into ruins, and removed ruins disappear without a trace.
Scissors remove entire tiles. The game will eventually feature 23 folks. Each will have its own frame graphics, emblem, buildings, special buildings with unique resources or functions, and special traits and bonuses.
In this window, we choose the folk for drawn buildings and settlements. Let's choose the barbarians. The game frame adjusts to the selected folk. All buildings and settlements on new tiles use the folk we selected. This windmill is already barbarian, these two buildings as well. Oh, here's a town. It already has barbarian structures. Oh, look at that. We're witnessing a revolution. The Alban state is turning into a barbarian state because there are more barbarians than Albans in it. The color and name stay the same, but the government and system change.
A state may consist of a single folk, but it can also include many ethnic minorities. This is shown by a divided shield with multiple emblems. You can place more than one state on the map. In this window, you edit a state or add a new one.
Let's say this will be a barbarian state. This time, let's pick yellow-green. The name Aberland sounds great.
The flag shows which state you are currently drawing.
For the borders of our new state to appear on the map, there must be at least one settlement. Oh, here's a tile with a bit of water and a city. Here, next to the mountains, will be perfect. I can already imagine the bay and the city at the foot of this mountain massif.
Borders change as the state grows. This is influenced by strength generated by buildings such as watchtowers, forts, castles, and by special traits of the folks.
The city of Hedris generates 20 strength.
Here you can toggle the strength overlay. Strength spreads from cities into nearby tiles. The state with the highest strength in a tile claims it. This is how towns and villages are conquered.
This is where you rename the map. Here is the save window. Here you choose a file to overwrite or create a new one. The preview of a saved file looks roughly like this. You can enable or disable the minimap. You can see the colors of states and water, and those golden dots are towns and villages. The game allows you to take a screenshot of the entire map or a selected area and save it as a PNG. Just drag the frame to crop the entire image. That should be fine. Screenshot saved. Here you can adjust animation speed, volume, autosave frequency, and other settings. It's quite possible that more options will appear here over time. Interface scaling can be adjusted at any time. You use Shift and plus or minus for that. In the game, you earn experience, levels, and ranks. Experience is awarded for completing maps and for tasks performed while drawing. Each map has 3 active tasks at once. When you complete one, a new one appears. Tasks have levels. Higher levels require more, but reward more. Rewards include experience, extra tiles, gold, or unlocking a new building or new folk. Each folk also has special tasks that reward you with a drawing of its palace. Tasks you don't want to do can be re-rolled. The number of re-rolls depends on your cartographer level. Okay, let's leave this task as it is. Here, the exact amount of gold is displayed, and below it, the experience points needed for the next level. This is the achievements window. The first tab shows discovered tasks and their highest completed levels. The second tab shows discovered drawings from various categories. As a beginner cartographer, you start with only one known people and basic drawings: mountains, water segments, and buildings. More drawings and folks are discovered over time. The last tab shows statistics. The game includes processing buildings such as windmills, water mills, and sawmills. I'll place this sawmill here. Their production depends on the size of the area they occupy. Each has its own requirements and maximum output. The number of collected and required forests is also shown on the parchment above the sawmill. Now it has 6 production, and its maximum is 12. To use this production, we must connect the building to the city with a road or river. 6 production went to Hedris, allowing a tower to be built. Now a longhouse is being built here. Two sawmills in one forest split the forest between them. I'll place this village right next to the sawmill, so a road won't be needed to gather its resources. The sawmill gathers more forests. I can also manually draw a forest. Everyone counts. Tile pool runs out, you receive a reward for completing the map. The game rewards you for avoiding empty spaces and for finished processing buildings. At this point, you can end the game or draw a bit more, which sometimes lets you finish a task and earn gold or a few new tiles. Maybe a road here would help make use of this windmill. Let's not waste these 2 buildings either. There are only 7 gold left in the pool. That won't be enough for much. You can also switch to creative mode, where you have unlimited tiles, all folks and drawings unlocked, but no tasks and no experience. This opens the terrain palette, letting us choose which tiles we want to draw. Let's say we need a tile with a settlement in a forest. Oh, here's one. And another. Maps with water fill are entirely covered with water by default. Land tiles remove water and reveal terrain. In this mode, water tiles also appear. They let you place larger gaps between land masses. Larger mountains remove the water segments they overlap. Oh, finally, a city. And a completed task as well.
Oh, another one. And another. A whole series.
Here you can see that the Jinhans turn the grasslands around their cities into pastures. Here I'm bringing resources from the mine and watermill to the city. Both appear on the in-range list in the panorama window.
Advanced maps differ from simple ones in how settlements expand. In this mode, you decide which buildings, towns, and villages construct. Flashing hammers indicate readiness to expand. Clicking them opens a window with 2 building options, showing their cost and effect. An inn or a house? A tough choice. Let's pick the cheaper one. We don't have enough production for a fort, so maybe a granary.
If the settlement cannot afford a building, you can wait until it gathers more production.
Another completed task. And now, into the deep, level 2, completed. The reward is an Arabian building. An Arabian distillery! That will be useful. In our world, we had a rather crazy idea. All alcohol is produced as koala urine. The animals are fed different kinds of food to create different beverages. To obtain stronger spirits, the alcohol is refined, which means the koalas are made to drink their own urine. I'm switching to Arabs.
The distillery should be somewhere here, since we already know this drawing. There it is. I'll place it in this barbarian village, just for fun.
So far, 5 folks are complete. Albans, inspired by medieval Europe. Arabs, inspired by Greece, Persia, and Arabia. Barbarians, inspired by Scandinavia and Scotland. Jin Hans, inspired by Mongolia, China, and Japan. And Inuits, inspired by Inuits. The remaining 18 are waiting, including dwarves, elves, halflings, orcs, and many more. Planned features include a climate system affecting the appearance and resources of forests and fields. Steam achievements, event buildings guarded by monsters in advanced maps, and secret tiles hidden across the map that reward you for reaching them. Work is progressing slowly but steadily. If you like this project, add it to your Steam wishlist. Thank you for your patience and attention.